Hi everyone, and welcome to Designing with John Daly, CSEP. I'm Perry Jones. Now in this program you will learn all the strategies and techniques to decorating that sumptuous buffet for your next event. Joining us now is our host, John Daly. Hi John.
Hi Perry.
It's good to see you. Now can you tell us a little bit more about buffets and how they can create that memorable affair?
Absolutely, Perry. Perry, I like to use a buffet because it's a very communal feeling. It's like breaking the bread. Everyone goes to the same table. And it makes people feel all a part of each other. It's really interesting because especially for an icebreaker event, the first event for a major convention, people haven't seen each other in a long time. They don't know everyone. This gives people a way of mingling together and doing something that everyone enjoys doing, which of course is eating. Nowadays, everyone is on a diet. Everyone has got their own special diet. This way, you can handle everyone. They can go through the buffet. They can take what they want from that buffet. I think it's very important, though, when you're putting together a buffet, to first of all, think about the age or the maturity of the people that are coming. Because a lot of that will have a lot to do with what is served, the way the buffet is decorated, the way the room is decorated. Are you looking for something happy-go-lucky? Are you looking for something very elegant? All of those things are very, very important. The financial status of the people that are attending. Do you want the people to be self-served? Do you want the people to have waiter service? Now, if you have a lot of CEOs in a company, if someone is way at the top end of the ladder, they want to be served. And very often a buffet, they're worried about a buffet because they don't feel as though they're going to get this service that they would normally receive at a sit-down meal. So you want to have servers at that buffet. You want to have them serve. Very often there will be someone that will take their plates, and their waiter will take their plates and escort them to the table. That's another really nice way to sort of upgrade a buffet. Buffets are also wonderful when you are working on a limited decor budget, because you can take your decor dollars and put them all in one place, therefore giving you more bang for your buck. You don't have to worry about decorating the entire room if you do some really wonderful, splashy buffets. Now, Perry, we've got some wonderful buffets today that we're going to design together. So what do you say we get going?
Let's go.
All right. One of the best places for inspiration in design of any sort of party decor is right in a fabric shop. Fabrics, with their textures and with their feels and with the way they drape and the way they move, can bring an entire inspiration together for what an event is going to be all about. A classic idea of just an Americana is with this plaid. The plaid is, for me, inspires a very warm, comfortable, down-home, fireplace sort of a feeling. This, coupled with a leather fabric or a leather texture, could inspire the entire event. If you are choosing fabrics for the ability to gather them or the ability to hang straight, all of those things are very, very important when putting together a design for a buffet. Joining me now is Larry Frieden from Michael Levine Fabric Store in the Garment District of downtown Los Angeles. I've been buying fabric with Larry for probably about 20 years now, isn't it, Larry?
At least.
At least that long, I'm sure. This is the premier place to buy fabric for events. The good thing about it is almost everything that you see anywhere around here is available in a good quantity, and also Larry puts up with me and my shenanigans. Thanks for having me in today, Larry.
John, it's always my pleasure.
Larry, today we're going to put together different themed buffets.
Okay. John, you know, in order for me to determine if I have the fabric here or not, whether I have to special order fabric for you, it's always really important that I know as close as possible to what exactly you're doing, how you're going to skirt the tables, what you're going to cover them with, so I can pull from either the floor or my warehouse the fabric that you need. If I don't have it, then I need as much time, of course, as possible to order the fabric to have it here for you so you can properly dress the tables in time for the party.
Well, Larry, today I have come very, very well prepared.
Great.
I have diagrams of each of the different buffet stations that we're going to do. I've broken out each individual table, each grouping of tables, and put it together so we can figure out the exact measurements of the tables.
That's the way you should do it. That is wonderful.
Fabric needs are measured by taking the length of the table multiplied by 3, as you have a front, a top, and a back. This total, plus the measurement of the sides, will determine the amount of fabric that will be needed to box the table. The dressing treatment will then make the difference for the amount that needs to be ordered, such as pleating, swagging, and gathering. This is the basic formula that I use to design any buffet station. Of course, if the buffet will only be seen from 3 sides, these measurements will change. The top, the front, and the sides should be measured, also with a return of about 5 feet on either side of the buffet. Besides a wide variety of fabrics to choose from, you will find an incredible assortment of tassels, laces, ties, and trims to accent your buffet station. Now, let's take this wealth of information and put it to good use by creating a few buffets with Perry at the beautiful Four Seasons Biltmore Hotel in Santa Barbara.
Now, John, what do we have here? What particular theme did you decide for this buffet?
This is going to be a country French.
Okay, now I love the shape of this. It's almost like an S.
It's made from 3 serpentine tables that are all 6 foot. And exactly right. We've put them into the shape of an S, and it gives it a lot more movement. Now, the reason that we will do that very often is, for instance, this is a rectangular room.
Right.
And we want to take away the severe straightness of the lines of the room, and so we will add the serpentines in to give a lot more interest, give a better feeling to it.
It's a little rounder.
Yeah, and it's softer. And you'll also see when we start to pleat the fabrics that working with the fabric and pleating the fabric on serpentine tables really is much, much softer.
Well, I have to tell you, one of my greatest fears is walking to a fabric store and trying to decide what fabric to use for a particular theme. For instance, how would you know the type of fabric to choose for this country French theme?
Well, with country French, you will go for strong color, but faded color.
Almost muted, right?
Muted,
okay.
Yes. Notice the color of the plaid here, Perry. This is a muted red. It's more of a tomato soup red than a fire engine red.
Right, that's great. I love that description.
And what that does is it will bridge over to this pink napkin that we're going to use.
Okay.
And then that, once again, you bring in the other fabrics that we're going to do in the bread baskets, and we've brought in that little bit of yellow just for the cheeriness and the brightness of the color, but all of these other colors have been matched in. What you're doing with the country French is you're mixing patterns, plaids, other patterns, all these different patterns together, and you need to have something that brings them all together. And what is doing it in this case is all of the colors match up. You see how they all come together with the begonia plant.
And the flowers, I was going to say, you even pick the flowers to blend in with the color.
Absolutely, and the begonias are all just in the natural French terracotta and terracotta pots, and they will be raised up when we finish off the buffet, and it will add a little bit of warmth to the whole thing.
And I love how you blend it all in with the dishes. The dishes are great.
Well, they have all of the same colors. You see, the blues and the pinks and a little bit of yellow. That's going to be picked up here. You gather all of those together, and there's how you have your country French in feeling.
Well, talking about the table and the shape, I've noticed that you decided to pleat. Now, how did you go about pleating this?
It's a real simple thing to do.
I can even do it? 2 left thumbs?
3 left thumbs, you can do it.
All right, John, now show us how to pleat.
Okay, first of all, what you've got to know is you always use an undercloth. This is just a regular banquet cloth linen that we put on top of all of the tables first.
Okay.
And then we use the fabric on top of that.
As the overlay.
as the overlay.
Now, do you have to have an undercloth on all tables or just when you're pleating?
Well, I think it's a good idea to have an undercloth because what it does is it makes the top of the table a little bit softer.
Okay.
And I like the feel of it, for one thing. And also, you'll see that the fabric that you're using really does lay a lot nicer when it has another piece of fabric first.
All right. Now, it looks really difficult. And
Oh, no.
you promised me it's easy, but show me, how do you decide, where to even begin?
Well, first of all, what you want to do is you want to make sure that each of your pleats, as you move on down the table, are the same equal distance from each other.
So you need to tape measure?
Well, I got a little secret for that I use. I know that I'm always going to have a box of pins with me.
Okay.
And so I take the top of the box and I use that as my measurement.
Oh, that's great.
So I just move along as I go down the table with this measurement. So I put this where the last pleat was, make my next pleat, and then I'm going to take this T-pin and I'm going to adhere this to the undercloth.
All right.
That way, you know that your pleat is going to stay where it's supposed to stay.
That's great. Now, these are T-pins, so this is the type of pins that you recommend.
I recommend a T-pin. I think they're a lot better than using a pearl head pin for skirting like this because a pearl head pin, for one thing, is going to give a little bit of a bump in the table. T-pins, they're really made for such things as skirting.
So it leaves it nice and smooth.
Right, leaves it
Okay.
nice and smooth. And they can be picked up at any craft shop or flower shop or hardware stores even very often will carry them.
Okay, so they're easy to find.
Yeah, they're easy to find.
Now, what do you do from here? How did you get this nice smooth look?
Okay,
The folds.
first, we've already set the pin down this one pleat so it will stay where it is. And then what you want to do, Perry, is you want to gather the fabric and you want to take your hand and go down the fabric. So that is called setting your pleat.
Setting the pleat.
Right.
That's amazing. Is that why you also chose this fabric as the heavier? Because it looks like it's just pressed.
That's right.
Ironed
That's
on.
right. It's the fabric does that. Now let's go ahead and do another one here. I'll show you. We'll just gather the fabric. And you want to make your pleat deep enough so it really does have some body to it. You see how I've gone in about 3 or 4 inches here and overlapped the fabric? And there we go. We've done the box top.
Right.
And we'll set the pleat now. We'll first T-pin it, and then we'll go back and we'll set the pleat.
That's amazing.
And then what you do, you notice on the edge, the bottom edge, we have the salvage of the fabric.
All unfinished.
It's
right?
all unfinished, and we don't want to show that when the table is completely finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to puddle this.
Excuse me, John, we're going to puddle?
Puddle,
Okay.
yes. We're going to just roll the
Oh,
fabric
I see.
under, and you see what that does also, Perry, is it gives a nice softness to the whole feeling of the pleats.
Sure does. And now, how do you measure fabric for a table, too? And how much fabric would I know to buy?
Well, when you're going to be pleating, normally with a pleat that is this deep, you'd want to about 3 times the amount of fabric that you would normally order if you were just going to do it straight, is what you would order. So you'd measure out the normal way, as we talked about, the front, top, and back, and then just multiply that times 3.
Okay.
So
all right.
come on now, go ahead
Oh,
and try
no.
one.
All right, let's see if I can do this.
Okay,
So I would set my box here.
that's right.
We set about 3 or 4 inches, right?
That's right, perfect.
Go into there,
Uh-huh.
gather the fabric, set the pleat.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, I forgot the T-pin.
Oh, you got to do the T-pin, right.
Okay, fold this back.
Make sure that is secure into the under fabric.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
bring that out,
Then set your pleat.
set the pleat.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I'm doing this by myself. I love it.
See, it's not hard.
This is great, and it looks so professional. I always thought that you had to buy fabric that was already pleated.
Well, you can, as a matter of fact, and a lot of people do. But when you're dealing in custom fabrics and custom design, usually it's kind of hard to find it that way.
And I'm sure it can be rather expensive.
Yes, it is. But
Oh,
you've got it. And what you want to do, Perry, is you'll want to go along and do the whole front of your table and then go back and puddle.
Okay.
That way you're not pulling at the fabric.
Now what happens like this, I've come across the corner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're doing the pleats earlier, they were all straight edge, but now the table is kind of a concave.
It's going to fall exactly the same way.
Oh, okay.
You're going to, at the end of it, why don't you try puddling some of that now? You see how, there you go. You're bringing that right underneath. You've gotten rid of your salvage, and you've got a very soft, wonderful, very full look. And that's what you're after.
Oh, that's amazing. That was easy.
Good.
And what a great look.
Now, Perry, as Jean puts the terracotta on the table to use for risers, because we want to have a lot of different heights, let me show you how we're going to finish off this corner.
Okay.
I've tied a big knot. Now, if you'll just hold on to that right there, I want to fluff the fabric out so it has sort of a finished look to it.
That's great. It's almost like a tassel.
It is very much like a tassel. And then what we want to do is we want to secure this to the tabletop. So once again, we'll use our T-pin, and we're going to put the T-pin in and make sure that we go all the way down to the base, to that undercloth. Okay. We don't want to just go across the top. I think it's a good idea on something that's this heavy that you do double. And what you do when you put in your second one is you cross over. So when your pins go in, Perry, they're crossing each other and they lock.
So it's really secure point.
It's very, very secure, right.
Okay.
So now let's take this fabric over here. And now, you see, once again, we want to hide the salvage on the edge. So we're going to just bring it around. We'll go back and we'll play with it a little bit more. But you can try and see. No, I see our fabric is fighting us to go that way,
Oh,
Perry.
okay.
That's what I was trying to see here. Then we'll go right, let's bring it right into this area.
Okay.
Now, here we go. We'll tie this off.
Now, would you leave the knot at the top of the table and then maybe just put serving dishes on top to hold that?
Well, no, you don't ever rely on a serving dish to do that, because when they would take away the serving dish to replenish it,
Oh, yeah.
it'd
There
fall.
you go.
Right.
Thank you.
So what you want to do is we'll leave the knot sort of lower here, and we'll take a T-pin, and once again, we'll put it in all the way down to the base of the undercloth.
And you use two of them.
And use two of them and cross them.
Okay.
That's real important, Perry, to cross them. And then what you do to cover up your T-pin is just sort of fluff it out. And then you want to make this a little bit more interesting. So you might, since we've already gone this far down, you might want to take up a little bit of the slack here. And
You need
make
another
it,
pin?
Yeah, another couple pins. A very important thing, Perry. Make sure that your salvage is not showing. You don't want an unfinished edge of fabric to ever show.
Okay.
Now see, come back and look at the sweeping motion that you get there.
That looks great.
Just, it adds a little dimension to the whole thing.
John, it looks so beautiful, and I love all the interesting touches that you've added. The copper dishes, the frying pan, it's so country looking.
And we've got the risers that we'll put some things on to
Right.
get the food up, the country bowl for the eggs, and
The
an
eggs.
antique French copper watering can.
Oh, that's beautiful. The flowers again on the
Right,
terracotta
once again,
pots.
just very simple, very garden-like,
Right.
very country.
Yeah, I like
Just a
that theme.
terracotta pot.
And then you added some of the...
The ivy just sort of spilled down.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And then we took just a plate, one of the serving plates, and put it up here just to add a little bit of color into this area.
That's wonderful. And the dishes match beautifully. And I've noticed you're using baskets, too.
Yeah, we've got some baskets. Oh, here. We've got
is great.
some baskets for a
Ooh.
riser. Look at that.
That is beautiful.
Thank you, David.
The fruit
Oh, it looks great.
and the dried flowers.
Right. These are our hydrangeas that have been dried. And we're just going to place those around the basket. And then we've got in a little crystal container the little sauce for the fruit.
That's beautiful. And again, your terracotta pots for more food. Speaking of which...
Speaking of which,
Thank you.
put that right on the terracotta. That'll be wonderful.
Now, I love your choice of the French dish, the fromage. That's great.
Well, it's just works out perfectly, doesn't it?
Oh, Oh, John, this is beautiful.
Didn't it turn out nice?
Really lovely. I mean, I feel like I'm in the French countryside.
Well, I tell you, it's simple food, simple elements make simple elegance.
That's a good way to remember. I'm starving, are you?
Oh, famished.
Would you like a strawberry?
Thanks.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Well, John, this buffet obviously speaks for itself. It looks like a wedding buffet.
Perry, that's exactly what it is. It's a wedding tea.
I tell you what, I wish I'd met you about 4 months ago before I got married. I wish my wedding tea looked like this. It's gorgeous.
Oh, I think it turned out very, very nice.
Very pretty. Now, John, what are some of the considerations that you have to keep in mind when you're planning a buffet such as this one?
Well, you have to think about budget, whatever amount of money that you want to spend, the time of day that you want to have your event, the number of people. That's a very, very important thing to consider. And basically what it is that you want your guests to feel. Some of the considerations that were taken by this bride and groom was the fact that this was their second wedding. They wanted to have something that really reflected their tastes and their age.
You've done such a beautiful look. You have the finger sandwiches and the pastries, the lace.
It's lace over moire.
Okay.
And see, there is one consideration. My feeling is that when you have a small amount of money to spend, relatively small amount of money for the number of people that you'll be entertaining, you put all of your bang into one buck.
Right.
For instance, we went here, everything on the tables has been done very, very well with the lace and with the moire and with the fine silver and the fine china. But then the guest tables may be a small table with just nothing but a tablecloth on it. And that is absolutely sufficient because of all of the beauty that you've got here.
Now, John, how do you choose the style of the floral design?
Well, for this particular arrangement, we wanted something that was very romantic. And so we went with a Flemish look, which is all the old flowers, the old-fashioned flowers, such as snapdragons and lilies and the roses and delphiniums and a little bit of the Queen Anne's lace.
Now, also, when you're choosing flowers, do you have to choose the ones that are long-lasting?
Well, as a matter of fact, with these, what we do is we will purchase the flowers sometimes several days in advance, because we want them to be full open. Because today, after all, is their special day, and when we want them to be at their fullest, full bloom.
Right.
So we'll purchase the roses and the lilies and so on, so they all open up very wide.
So they're very closed when you first buy them.
Oh, they're very closed when you first buy flowers, yes.
Now, John, what is considered the perfect floral container?
Well, that really depends upon the buffet and the theme that you're working with. But for this particular event or wedding, the perfect thing was a silver container. And if you'll notice, we chose silver because of all of the silver heirlooms that were brought in from the family.
Sure.
Also, we picked a container that has a pedestal on it. We wanted to get the floral arrangement up. It's a very important thing to remember, Perry, whenever decorating any sort of a buffet, that you want the decorations to be chest high, because that way they are seen from across the room. When people are coming towards the buffet, if people are all around the buffet, they can still enjoy all of the beautiful decor.
It's the little touches that really make a difference.
It's the little touches that make all the difference in the world, Perry. You're absolutely right. Another great touch, Perry, is to take petals, just rose petals, and to just sort of sprinkle them around all of the rest of the cake and all of the other plates and so on and so forth. It adds so much. It's so romantic looking, and at the same time it adds a fragrance to the whole buffet. And also, what is more romantic than rose petals?
It looks beautiful.
Little ties on the serving utensils. It's a very nice touch for floral pieces to have this.
That's
something
pretty.
along this line here, just tied off with the same ribbons that are used on the cake, and they're used on all these little bouquets that are set all the way around the table. It just ties the whole thing together, so to speak.
That is a nice touch.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Well, Perry, it's about time for the ceremony to start. The sun is out. It's a beautiful day. Shall we take our seats?
Let's go.
There are instances when you need not look any further than under your feet for inspiration. Creativity may come from man's most basic of resources, Here's an example of how we can utilize nature's elements to create a striking hors d'oeuvre buffet. The use of rocks, mosses, and dressing of hemp burlap suggests a rugged out-of-door feeling. You may use the inherent qualities of each facet and design to help you. Cooling, heating, or a serving container could be fashioned from each natural element.
Now, Perry, this is what I would consider a much more elaborate buffet.
Now what would you call this? I mean, you used rocks and slate and...
Well, it's almost an experience in texture. Notice all the different mosses that we've used and the twigs and the polished quarry rocks. And there's all different types of rocks here on this buffet, as you can see.
This is beautiful.
And wait till we add the food, Perry. I think it's time you got your hands dirty.
I've got my work clothes on.
Well, good, I'm glad.
You know what I've really noticed about these rocks, though, is the colors. How do you bring the colors out like this?
That's real simple, Perry. After you have washed the rocks,
Just
very,
soap
very
and
clean.
water?
Soap and water,
Okay.
very hot soap and water. After you have done that, then you would take just regular vegetable oil and you would put a little bit of vegetable oil on the rock and rub it in. And what that will do is it brings out see how it brings out all of the colors.
Oh, let me try.
Here, why
let me
don't you try?
Okay. So you just put a little bit on, right? You don't have to put that much.
Well, actually, for that size rock, you'd want to put a fair amount
Like
on.
that?
Yeah, there you go. Now just rub that in.
Look at this. It really pops the color out.
And it makes the textures seem much more diverse, doesn't it,
Oh,
though?
this is great. You know what? This is very cold. I mean, really, it's cold as ice.
That's right. It's been in the freezer. And we use that as a way of keeping the food cool on this particular one. But now, Perry, when you come around, don't touch this one because this one is very hot.
Now, how did you get that to heat up?
What we do is we put sterno underneath. Before we bring it out to the buffet, though, we would put this in the oven and warm it up so it will get warm.
Okay.
And then the sterno will keep it warm throughout the evening.
That's fabulous.
And we're going to then display hors d'oeuvres on this one that we want to keep warm.
That is brilliant.
So why don't I let you have some of these and you display the cold and I'll display the hot.
Boy, you're putting me to work here.
I'm putting you to work.
I love it, though. I've wanted to do this.
And see, Perry, what I'm doing here? I want you to notice with adding to this whole design element, I've got the phyllo dough that is pointed, and I'm putting it onto a pointed serving tray, such as the marble here.
Should I put one out there on the tip of the rock?
Oh, I think that'd be great. That's going to the tip of the iceberg.
I love it.
Now, Perry, why don't we work together on putting out the crudité?
Okay.
And that'll add even more texture to this design.
And color, too. I
And
imagine.
color.
Now, I have a question for you, John.
Uh-huh.
Isn't it unusual that you're working with food? I mean, most designers don't do that.
Well, I'll tell you, Perry, we will work with the design on a buffet as far as it takes. If food happens to be a great deal of what the overall ambiance of the buffet is done, then we will become involved. Otherwise, you're right, we do not become involved. Although I must say, we do not ever do any of the cooking. We would just work with the chef to put these things out in their displays.
Okay. Now, I'm just doing this haphazardly.
Oh,
I
you're
don't
doing
know
a
if
great
I'm
job.
Doing it right
Doing
or
a great
not.
job. I like the way you're keeping your colors together. That's real important on something like this because you want to make impact with little bits and the colors. Putting all your colors together will give each thing more impact.
Okay. I tell you what, this absolutely looks gorgeous, and it's amazing when you first look at it. It's like, my goodness, how could you come up with this design? I mean, it takes a lot of effort and time to make it look this simple.
Well, you're absolutely right. It really does.
How's that?
That's looking good, huh?
Now, John, how much time would you allow for the installation of an hors d'oeuvre buffet such as this one?
Well, Perry, this takes a long time because of all the labor just to move the rocks in.
Uh-huh.
And to polish them and to clean them and so on and so forth. So I would allow a good amount of time.
Like a couple hours? Or?
Oh, I would say a minimum of 2 to 4 hours.
Okay.
Depending upon the load in.
Well, you've certainly
the room.
outdone yourself. This is absolutely magnificent.
Oh, well, thanks, Perry, and thanks for your help.
I have
But why don't we just go through one more time and look at all of the different hors d'oeuvres that we have?
Okay, let's do a recap. then.
Like on the cold rock. Now remember about the cold rock, just put it in the freezer and it will stay cold for an evening. And we've got the spinach souffle. And then over here we've got the hot blueberry in phyllo, and that's been kept warm on the sterno.
Right.
And then of course all up in here, the whole crudité of all the fresh vegetables with all the colors, and it spills down the table, down to a beautiful crab dip, and more of the phyllo, stuffed phyllo, and then caviar, and the egg, and the onion, and the crackers. It really does look like it will be a filling and lovely buffet. Remember, keep your eyes open and walk softly. Your next decor resource may be right under your toes.
Now, John, how do budget considerations come into play?
They do on every event that you ever do, as a matter of fact, Perry. Sometimes you will have a higher budget, sometimes you will have a lower budget. Sometimes you'll have a very high budget, but you're entertaining a very large number of people. All of that has to be taken into consideration whenever the design is going together on the buffet as well as the remainder of the room.
Okay, now what do you do if you have to be working with a limited budget?
Well, the number one thing that must be followed without beating around the bush whatsoever is you can never have more than 100 people going through a buffet.
Okay.
So in other words, if you're entertaining 1,000 people,
Right.
you definitely have to have 10 buffets in the room.
Okay, and that's easy access to the flow and everything.
Right, that is what will keep you at an easy access and very acceptable access to the food. People not waiting in line. Now then, if you have a higher budget than the lower budget, you would be able to break that down to 75 people or really even as low as 50 people. 50 people to a buffet is considered really the premium because there would be absolutely no waiting.
Okay.
But if you're in a room, and not only budget constraints, the size of the room can have an awful lot to do with the number of buffets that you can put into a room. So if you're in a room that is limited in space and you're entertaining 1,000 people and you've got 10 buffets, you might have to watch what you're doing with the buffets.
Okay. So, John, how do the budget considerations that we were talking about earlier fit into the design of this buffet? I mean, just looking at it, it looks very creative.
Perry, it works in easily.
Everything that you're looking here is hotel supplied. This is all hotel linen, and what we've done is we've done a double layer of the hotel linen. We've gathered this up and pleated it. We've used the risers that are hotel. This is actually underneath here is a dish crate, and above this is a milk crate. And all we've done is covered it over with hotel linen. We've placed a basket on top that we've brought in. We added the raffia and left the raffia long because that accentuates the height. Nestled in some grapes on the shelf that we created. Then moving on down, we took the chafing dish, and rather than putting it straight the way you would normally see it straight on the table, we've angled it. We've angled both of the chafing dishes to sort of come in because that adds more interest as well, because now you have height and different angles showing. Always want to use the angles. Here we've just used some dried pasta spilling out of a mason jar, nestled some grapes in around that, and put that whole setting around this trug that we brought in as well, filled it with breads, bringing the napkins out over the edge of the trug to cut that hard line. That's a very important thing to remember as well. Moving on along down, we have another basket with the focaccia bread that we've brought to yet a different level than what you're seeing. So you have a level, a level, a level. It's almost like steps up, Perry.
I'm really impressed, John. It's amazing what you've been able to create with the essential hotel supplies. It looks great.
Well, the important thing to remember is to take all of the basic elements and give them a little bit of a twist to add a little bit of creativity. And that's it.
Well, that you certainly have done.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. You know what? The music really adds the final touch.
Isn't that great?
It's
It really
pretty.
is. I have to tell you, Perry, this is really one of my favorite styles of design.
Now, what would you call this style?
It would be like an English country design.
Okay, I like the warm feelings. You have an earthiness tone to it.
Uh-huh.
Now, I've noticed in this particular room you have the fireplace going. How important is the room decor in coming up with the style of the buffet?
Oh, I think it's very important. I like to incorporate the room decor into what the decor that is brought in is all about. Because what that does then is it only magnifies what you bring in.
Right,
And makes it even seem more important and like you've done a lot more.
right. The colors I've noticed in this particular one.
The colors we chose, we saw the room, of course,
Right.
and saw the beams and saw the carpeting and so on. And then we went and we found this leather-like material
It's beautiful.
that was the base of the buffet, and then found this marvelous plaid with all these warm colors. And to me, Perry, what that did was it said what this whole buffet was going to be all about.
Now, would you consider this a custom design?
Oh, absolutely.
Would you?
Absolutely a custom design, yes.
Okay.
What we've done here is we went to a local antique store and we went in and we rented a lot of these pieces that you're seeing here. The chocolate cabinet and the clocks and so on and so forth. And we've brought the warmth of the old world into this feeling.
Now, that's an interesting thought. What people can do is you can rent from furniture stores, antique stores. You also mentioned costume shops.
Absolutely. I think it's very important that people do take that as an option. You don't always have to go and buy everything. Very often, people will rent their wares.
Now, John, what type of guest would enjoy this style buffet?
Perry, this is a very good example of what I was talking about to you earlier about the fact that age and financial status really has a lot to do with the type of an event that you will design. I would say this would be for more of the established type of person. I cannot see a younger generation, 20s and early 30s people enjoying this type of a look.
Maybe someone more of a corporate level, a CEO.
Right, and the older established people.
Oh,
That's what I think you'd find would enjoy this. As I said, I'm putting my foot in my mouth because it's my favorite kind of design. Does that tell you about me?
No, this is great. Now, something else that you've incorporated in this particular style is the use of candles and lighting.
I think
Beautifully done.
candles really, now you can only use candles in certain places. There's a lot of places, and that's a very important consideration when you are doing work with candles or any kind of open flame of where you are doing it, because there are a lot of places that will simply not allow it.
Oh, is that right?
That's
so you gotta
right.
be particular.
Absolutely.
Well, this is absolutely gorgeous. Every time I come up to a buffet, I say, John, you've outdone yourself. But once again, I have to say this to you. This is one of my favorite designs, and you certainly have outdone yourself. It's extraordinary.